Welcome once again to Masterpiece of Shit Theater with your host, Filthy Fred. This episode's a little special because it's a first viewer-requested story. Hopefully the first of many. Which story is it, you ask? What, didn't you look at the title? Lazy ass. It's suicidemouse.avi, you lousy bum. So let's dig into this creepy linguini or whatever it's called and see what we got in store. So, do any of you remember those Mickey Mouse cartoons from the 1930s? The ones that were just put on DVD a few years ago? Well, I hear there was one that was unreleased to even the most avid classic Disney fans. Yeah, given how much they try and hide any of their older cartoons these days, I'm not surprised. Can't have anything politically incorrect being seen now. According to sources, it's nothing special. It's just a continuous loop, like the Flintstones, a Mickey walking past 6 buildings that goes on for 2 or 3 minutes before fading out. Can't imagine why that was overlooked. Unlike the cutesy tunes put in, though, the song in this cartoon was not a song at all, just a constant banging on a piano for a minute and a half before going to white noise for the remainder of the film. Not unlike what I hear when I try listening to your Panic at the Discos or whatever you kids listen to these days. It wasn't the jolly old Mickey we've come to love either. Mickey wasn't dancing, not even smiling, just kind of walking as if you or I were walking, with a normal facial expression, but for some reason his head tilted to side as he kept this dismal look. He read the news today, oh boy. Up until a year or so ago, everyone believed that after it cut to black, that was it. When Leonard Maltin was reviewing the cartoon to be put in the complete series, he decided it was too junk to be put onto DVD, but he wanted to have a digital copy due to the fact that it was a creation of Walt's. When he had a digitized version up on his computer to look at the file, he noticed something. A single file labeled Pong.gif, a lesser known but equally insidious cousin of Sonic.exe. The cartoon was actually 9 minutes and 4 seconds long. This is what my source emailed to me in full. He is a personal assistant of one of the higher executives at Disney, an acquaintance of Mr. Maltin himself, because of course he is. After it cut to black, it stayed like that until the 6th minute, before going back into Mickey walking. The sound was different this time. It was a murmur. It wasn't a language, but more like a gargled cry. Little do they know they'd recorded Walt gargling with Listerine. As the noise got more indistinguishable and loud over the next minute, the picture began to get weird. The sidewalk started to go in directions that seemed impossible based on the physics of Mickey's walking, and the dismal face of the mouse was slowly curling into a smirk. Clearly the pills were kicking in. On the 7th minute, the murmur turned into a blood-curdling scream, the kind of scream painful to hear, as opposed to blood-curdling screams that are pleasant to hear, I suppose, and the picture was getting more obscure. Colors were happening that shouldn't have been possible at the time, i.e. any colors. Mickey's face began to fall apart. His eyes rolled on the bottom of his chin like 2 marbles in a fishbowl, and his curled smile was pointing upward on the left side of his face. The buildings became rubble floating in midair, and the sidewalk was still impossibly navigating in warped directions, a few seeming inconceivable with what we as humans know about direction. So basically it was an experimental 70s cartoon. Mr. Maltin got disturbed and left the room, sending an employee to finish the video and take notes of everything happening up until the last second. His official statement was, "I'm too busy for this shit," and afterward immediately stored the disc of the cartoon in the vault. This distorted screaming lasted until 8 minutes and a few seconds in, and then it abruptly cuts to the Mickey Mouse face at the credits at the end of every video. You mean the beginning of every video? With what sounded like a broken music box playing in the background. This happened for about 30 seconds, and whatever was in that remaining 30 seconds I haven't been able to get a sliver of information about. From a security guard working under me, who was making rounds outside that room, I was told that after the last frame, the employee stumbled out of the room with pale skin, saying, "Real suffering is not known," 7 times, before speedily taking the guard's pistol and offing himself on the spot. Also something about low prices of Kmart, but mostly the bit about the suffering. The thing that I could get out of Leonard Maltin was that the last frame was a piece of Russian text that roughly said, "The sights of hell bring its viewers back in," or "vote early, vote often." It was hard to tell given the poor quality of the film. As far as I know, no one else has seen it, but there have been dozens of attempts at getting the file on Rapid Share by employees inside the studios, all of whom have been promptly terminated of their jobs and their lives. Okay, yeah, I made that part up, but, you know, the guy would have written that if he thought of it. Whether it got online or not is up for debate, but if rumors serve me right, it's online somewhere under suicidemouse.avi. If you ever find a copy of the film, I want you to never view it, and to contact me by phone immediately, regardless of the time. When a Disney death is covered up as well as this, it means this has to be something huge. Get back at me, TR. I've yet to find a copy of this, but it is out there. I know it. Of course, this is all just a bunch of hokum some bozo dreamed up, but there actually is a series of comic strips where Mickey Mouse repeatedly tries to kill himself. Walt Disney had some serious mental issues. Seriously, I'm not making this up. The man was out of his gourd. Anyway, if you got any other stories out there that need the Filthy Fred touch, let me know. Until next time, vote early, vote often.